It is Zena Krogadal, your American Dream Makers host. Thanks for joining us this morning, and we have a fabulous guest joining us on this day. And it is Valentine's Day here, so it's going to be a fun one. I've got Miss Bonnie Huntsman, but before I bring her on, if you are here on watching this, if you can go to streamyard.com/Facebook. So if you're on Facebook watching this, and give StreamYard permission so that we can see your comments as you jump in, that would be fabulous because we love to know who are making the comments. And don't be shy. Absolutely ask questions and make your comments and that sort of thing. It keeps it, we like to have this interactive. And absolutely share this out. Love to get Miss Bonnie's message out there because she's a fabulous woman and you are really going to enjoy her. So absolutely, this is the American Dream Makers live stream podcast show. And I do believe that the American dream belongs to all of us. And not only can you achieve it, but you can go beyond. And Miss Bonnie Huntsman absolutely is living the American dream, and she's helping others to live the American dream. So she is our special guest today. She's a woman of many hats. She's a woman who is a flight attendant. She's a real estate agent, and she's an upcoming author. So very, very exciting. Let's bring her on. Hello, Miss Bonnie.
Hi, Sienna.
How
are you today?
I'm good. How about yourself?
I'm great. Thanks for having me on your show. I really appreciate it.
Oh, I am so glad that you could be on the show here this morning. So you are in Orlando, Florida, correct?
I
What's
am.
the weather like today?
It is a little chilly for my Floridian blood. I'm not going to lie. It's probably like 50s right now. Yeah,
Okay. Okay.
that's the sweater. I'm like, it's a little chilly.
How long have you lived in that area for?
So I grew up in Florida. When I was about a year old, we actually moved from Ohio. I was born in Ohio, so I won't call myself a true Floridian, a native, should I say. But I grew up here, and I've lived in this area with my husband for the last 20 years. We had built a house about 21 this month. 21 years. Ooh, time flies.
Wow, that's
Uh,
so cool. So what made you decide to be in Orlando? You grew up in Orlando
so on the
itself?
outskirts in Sanford. It's about 30 minutes outside of Orlando. We grew up there. I grew up there. Should say me, my brother. So.
Wow. What was it like to grow up in Sanford, which is a little outside of it? Is it more of not quite as metropolitan
Back in
feel?
the day, it wasn't. It's actually grown up a lot since I lived there. But yeah, it was a little quiet. We lived right by this little airport. It was nice. It was, we could easily access and go to Disney, which we did go to Disney a lot growing up. I'm not gonna lie. Growing up in Florida, you get that, but you get to go to Disney quite often. But it wasn't too far out. Like I said, about 30 minutes from Disney. So.
Very nice. Very nice. So now, how did you and your husband meet?
So funny story. So one of my very best friends, we went to college together. Her and my husband, they actually knew each other for a long time. My husband was a flight instructor, and he actually worked where he was flying. She was the secretary there, and so they were friends forever. And then we were friends, but me and my husband never really knew each other for like years later after all of us met. But yeah, so we met through a good friend, natural, organic out, and we all kind of just hung out one day, and that was it. We've been together ever since, like 20 plus years now, 26, 27 years. So yeah, it's been a while
Wow.
journey that long. It's hard to believe that it's been that long.
So cute. I see little cat ears.
Yes,
So cute.
she, is my little lap kitten. I'm sitting in here in the desk, and she's got to be on my lap. So she wants to be
She
the
likes
star.
she likes to snuggle. Wow.
Yeah,
Not all cats like that.
oh no, she's a snuggle bug, and she wants to be the star of the show, actually. So.
Wow, very social. Wow, that's fun. That's great. So you and your husband met, and where were you living in at that time? Were you in Sanford?
So, no, we just grew up there, and we moved there when I moved from Sanford out a little further out towards the beach when I was in high school. Gosh, it's been so long ago. Where was I living? I was living out by the University of Central Florida, which it's called UCF. I was living out there with my mom at the time, who was separated from my dad. That's a whole nother story. But so, and then we met, and then me and my husband actually, funny, once we met, he moved in with me and my mom. So we kind of lived in sin for a while, but that was good.
Yeah. So, so he's a pilot and you are a flight attendant. Now, were you in those career paths when you met?
So, no, he was a pilot when I met, and I was actually in nursing school when I met him. And so, we met from a friend, and I thought, wow, he's a pilot. What a nice, intriguing job. And I started because actually he was based in DC at the time. He lived in Orlando, but he was commuting back and forth to DC. So I would buy plane tickets to go up to see him in DC. And I'd always like pay attention to the flight attendants. I'm like, this has got to be a cool job, right? And so I just started talking to them, and all of them, would talk so much about how what a great job it is and the travel benefits. And I was like, let me think about this a minute, right? And so then I just started applying. I thought I like nursing school, but I don't know if this is really my path. But so yeah, I just started applying, and I actually got hired at United on the spot. And did I say that out loud? Sorry. Anyways, and been there 24 years. 24 years
Wow,
now.
24 years as a flight attendant.
Yes.
So the the industry has changed a lot over 24 years. So walk us through what it was like when you first started and what it's
So
like now.
I started before September 11th, obviously. All those years ago, it seems like yesterday. And September 11th was the first hurdle I had to endure with layoffs. Was laid off for 6 months. Luckily, I had my nursing, to fall back onto, and I worked in a nursing home when I was on furlough. But then, like 6 months, the world kind of came back together, and I went right back flying. Then, we had COVID, so the span of September 11th to COVID era, and then got laid off again during COVID, and that's when I did my third journey of career, should I say, when I decided to do real estate. When I got laid off during COVID because I was actually bored, so not flying, not doing anything during COVID, as we all were, and
Yeah.
but the real estate in Florida was actually booming. All my friends that were realtors were like, that was their busiest year ever. That's their year they made
Mhm.
the most money. So I decided to start the test and do everything, and that's where it all happened there for real estate for me. So.
That's great. So, we definitely want to talk a little bit more about real estate, but I want to go back to your time as a flight attendant because I'm sure that that is what do you love most about being a flight attendant and what I guess what stories or memories stick out to you?
So gosh, I the flexibility, if I'm going to be honest, to make my own schedule, and the travel benefits, to be able to take my mom, to places, and I have my niece on my passes. She gets to fly for free. That's one of the biggest perks, should I say, besides the flexibility. But got just so many story journeys in the 24 years. I have to say that the toughest one was around September 11th when I first came back. Flying was just flying all the military people that just grateful, for them because my husband was in the army. Um, that just seeing that, after because I was in DC, based in DC during September 11th and coming back there, it was like the world changed as we knew it then, for the first time. But it was just the heartbreak of it, just
Yeah. Yeah.
getting back into it. And I had a lot of survivor guilt after September 11th. You know, 'Cause, I was not flying during that day, and so many of my friends were, and so it was tough. It was tough to get through. I had a lot of friends that actually quit after September 11th because it was scary times, not knowing. But I stuck in there because I'm like, you know what? If we quit, they win. So that was
Mhm.
always my philosophy. Never to quit because then they won.
Well,
So
good for you. I'm glad you didn't quit because
me
I
too.
tell you that flight attendants being a passenger, flight attendants absolutely, can make the flight or break the flight,
So
with attitude, right? So,
oh, very true. After doing it for 24 years, I've seen a lot. Yeah, and that is very true. So
yeah.
yeah.
And granted, anytime you're in a customer service industry, it can be very challenging,
Mhm.
when you are are dealing with customers all day long, and
Mm.
people are stressed. Let's face it, not everybody loves flying. So then you see a side of people that their anxieties come out in so many different ways. And I can say this because I worked in the dental industry for 27 years, and so not everybody loves coming to the dentist. I know, big surprise, but and so sometimes you'll see a side of people that you normally would not see them in, reacting or responding, and sometimes the not so nice side can come out,
Yep.
and so you have to kind of take that step back and be like, okay,
Yep.
as much as I want to react to this situation, I really need to have compassion and empathy that this person's probably really struggling
Mm.
today. Um, and so anyways, as a flight attendant, sometimes I feel like you probably get the biggest brunt of some people, coming in and, you know,
Sometimes,
um,
yeah, there's days, but I always feel like, I think you alluded to a little bit. There's days where, I feel like if someone's having a bad day, there's always more to their story. Like their journey didn't just start there; it started somewhere else. That, like, maybe their dog died that morning. I mean, you just don't know what's going on with somebody when they come on grumpy, or they're trying to take something out on you that's not your problem, but it's their way of releasing whatever they have going on in their life. So I mean, I just like to listen versus, like how you said, react, because sometimes we want to react when someone's kind of coming at us. But I've learned over the years of 24 years of, you know, just let them vent, because there's more to the story, and it usually unfolds and the layers come off once let them calm down, and then you maybe find out the story. So it's just be having that empathetic ear and listening is the big key for people, because that's all they really want to do. They want to, like, vent, but then at the end of the day, they just want someone to listen to them. And
yeah,
it's been a learning experience for sure. Like letting people just kind of lash out at you, but like I said, it's not about me. They've got more than I can even know what's going on. So I just sit there and listen. That's
that's
all.
good. Well, and I imagine you're very pleasant as a flight attendant. I mean, I haven't been on a flight with you, but I know you personally, so I'm
Oh,
sure
yes.
you've got that smile and just always ready to serve people. So, thank you so much for your service, and and it's nice that you're in the same industry as your husband, so you understand the dynamics of, the demands of that industry, that you're gone for hours and sometimes you're gone for overnight, and, at least, I know as a pilot, that tends to be the case that sometimes, they're gone for a little bit. Like
Yeah.
today, it's Valentine's Day, and I think you told me that your husband's not here because he's working.
Yep, he will be home tomorrow, and yeah, as we were talking a little bit about, yeah, he it's just, holidays, Valentine's Day, it just becomes another day when you're in this industry of flying, because in the beginning you work all the holidays, you work all the weekends. So you learn to adapt and go, okay, Christmas, it's another day. What day can I celebrate it that I'm off before? It's got the same meaning, a different day than that day. And it just becomes, another day. And like I was saying, Valentine's Day for us has never really been our big thing anyways, because I don't really love flowers. I mean, not that I don't love them. I love to look at them, but I don't love to get them, if that makes sense. I just feel like, especially this time of the day or year, I should say, they're overpriced. They're so expensive for like a couple days of me looking at them, and then they'll be gone. So I'm
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
you know, never been my thing.
Well, and I think it's a lot more fun when you're dating to get things like that than when you're married because, yeah, you're like, "How much did that cost? I'd rather
Right.
have shoes, I'd
Exactly.
rather have this, or I'd rather have something that's gonna last a little longer."
You pay how much for those flowers that are gonna die in 2 days? Not that I don't appreciate him, but he learned early on. I think he bought me one year, and, I was like, "Okay, look, I don't need you to do that." I mean, I kinda made it clear that that's not what I'm about. So, and
Yeah,
he was, like, more than happy to oblige. So it
yeah,
was like,
yeah.
"Okay, no flowers."
I do like to get flowers, not necessarily has to be on Valentine's Day for the very reason that you say, unless they come from Costco has reasonable flowers, so if they come from there, it's not so bad, or, or even the stores, but definitely if you're ordering it from the florist, it's like,
You go,
that's,
bro.
yeah,
Yeah. No, but it's nice to, just receive things all year round or on different days, just that, show of love or appreciation. It doesn't have to be like, why does it have to be a specific day? Because, we
Yeah,
decided to make it Valentine's Day that like, and then, men in particular might feel, oh my God, it's Valentine's Day and have to live up to this hype of getting their wife flowers or candy or something, which in theory they might not want like me, but they just don't want to tell them because they want them to get it and want to,
yeah.
it's just I know. I mean, I feel like relationships needs to be an all year round everything. We need to keep it going instead of just one day. I don't know. But that's what me and my husband try to do. He's always doing something nice for me all year round, and so that's what makes it, more
Well,
enjoyable.
that's why you've been married, I think you said 21 years?
Yeah, 21 years this year in July. Yes. So, yep.
Yeah. Yeah, so that's why you keep him around, because he's still, he pays attention to you, more than just once a year, which is great. And
I
you're right. And you're right, that, it's good to really appreciate each other year round, and I think that takes learning how to communicate those things, because every wife is different. Because
Yes.
some people, their love language is gift giving, and you know
Yep.
what? The holidays are important, their birthdays are important,
Yep.
Christmas, Valentine's, and those things, and so if you are married to someone who those things really have value to them, there's nothing wrong with wanting that, but you absolutely, need to pay attention to your spouse and know what they need, and that's what you do, not what other people's spouses need. So, you got
100% agree. It goes back to that book. I'm sure you've read it. Most people have the five love languages. I mean, we both read that early on and realized that what each other's love language were, like is, I should say. We're both very emotional, touchy feely type of people and like that kind of like, just sense of just touch
yeah,
and not necessarily gifts or anything, words of affirmation are really big for my husband. If I don't tell him enough how much I love him, it's like, what?
yeah.
but yeah, so
We got someone that says you want the flowers unexpectedly, not on Valentine's Day. I
that,
don't not sure who Facebook user is, but if you wanna type your name in there, I'd love to know, but you're correct.
yeah.
It is nice.
My husband has done that. He has, just occasionally brought me flowers for no reason, because I mean, not that I'm not saying I don't like them, but like I said, I appreciate them more at different times than on Valentine's Day. It seems like just because, the price and everything else of what goes with it. It's like I'd rather have it randomly on a spontaneous day than just
Yeah,
like, oh, everybody says today's Valentine's Day. You need to get roses. I'm like, no.
yeah. Stephanie. Oh, hi, Stephanie. So good to see you on here. Thank you so much for being here, with us. So, flight attending, and then you said, and then COVID happened. So you went through 9/11, which was very tragic for the
Yes.
United States, as a whole, and it took, I think, a long time for things to get back. Because I remember, my sister-in-law's husband, who's a pilot,
Mhm.
did not have a job for quite some time because there were not having flights, nearly as many flights, because people weren't flying. So it
Yes.
took a long time before he actually ended up being able to be a commercial pilot. I mean, he was flying cargo planes and that sort of thing, but it definitely changed things, in the industry. And then so it seems like we gained some pretty good momentum. Everybody's back to traveling, and
Yep.
then this virus hits the
Mhm.
world, not
Yeah.
just our nation, but the world now.
Yep.
So that had to been, tell us a little bit, what that was like when you did finally come back and all of the protocols that were in place. Was that stressful?
I'm not gonna lie. I was out, gosh, from 2020 when it happened, and I came back in the end of 21, somewhere around there, like when things were starting to slowly get better. Just the mask policy was still in effect, obviously, and that was one of the most challenging things for everybody, I think, because by then nobody wanted to wear the mask. If they did, they did. It was very frustrating for us to be placed in that position of, as I call, being the mask police when you anyways, we could say a lot about that, but it's probably better left unsaid. But yeah, but it was challenging. It was challenging for me too because I have bad sinuses to wear that mask for 12, 13-hour days when I was working a lot. Because you had to wear it through the airport, in the airport, everywhere you went. and it was very challenging. And I started having a lot more reoccurring sinus infections afterwards and everything, just because of breathing in all your carbon dioxide all day long, and the health ramifications. For me, I mean, I've heard of other people too, but it was significant. But
Yeah.
get through
Well,
it.
also because people were wearing the same mask, like you're
Yes, yes,
like in dentistry, we always wore masks prior to, any of this. But the difference, I can tell you the difference is that we changed our mask out after every patient after a certain amount of time, where most people were wearing the same mask all day long because we were limited on masks, first of all, the right kind that was going to actually
exactly.
do anything. Otherwise, most of the time you're wearing like, masks that didn't do anything for you. But
Exactly.
even for me in the dental field, when we went to we obviously wear masks with every patient, but we had breaks in between. But with COVID, we ended up having to wear masks the entire time, and I felt a difference,
Hmm.
even just the adjustment of that. And like I said, I wore masks probably more than the average person. But now that we're required to wear it from the time we walked into the office to the time we left, my breathing and just getting out of breath sooner, like it just, I was like, wow, this is so interesting that even just adding that little bit more, made such a big difference, like you said, physiologically. And, so thankfully now the mask mandates are not in place because I do feel like long-term wise, it's not healthy. We are supposed to breathe the oxygen, directly, and the masks are for limited time use, not for all day long. I know there were arguments like, well, surgeons wear masks. Well, yeah, that's during surgery.
And they change it afterwards. They change it more than once a day, right? I mean, like
Yes,
you said, you didn't have, and for us as flight attendants could only wear a certain type. We couldn't, wear some fancy and they provided us ones that had the straps that left marks on our face. So it was very challenging. I mean, I'm not gonna lie, it was just different times. And I was just very thankful. When they announced, let it just be a choice. I mean, like everything in life, I believe we all have choices, and I mean, to this day on the plane, I still see people and families, with children that wear masks.
mhm,
Great. That's what you want to, that's your choice. That's the great beauty about being here in this free country, supposedly, correct? That
right,
it's a choice. Like, I mean, and I chose not because it made, like you're saying, sick, and the sinus issues, and just, the long days of just wearing it. It just it took a toll for that short amount of time that I came back. And I just feel thankful that I wasn't flying the whole time. I had friends that were flying the whole time. And and it was very hard. And I mean, even with the mask on, I have to say I still got COVID. I still got COVID working, with the mask on. I had a few times, more than once. By luck, it wasn't anything too terrible, just sinus issues that I already have. But and I know a lot of people had it a lot worse. But
yeah, absolutely.
it's
Stephanie says N95 masks are much different than just over-the-counter mask. Yeah, very much so.
yeah,
And that N95, like I said, that actually
yeah,
did something, you definitely felt a difference wearing it all day long. Yeah.
right. But there again, those were, like, very, very long hard to find, and they were very limited. You couldn't get your hands on them. If you didn't have some around that time, you were wearing the whatever, we were provided by, or whatever you had. So,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. Well, so then now, do you feel like we're kinda back to, I don't even know if it's normal, whatever normal is.
I call it the new normal. Um, yeah, we're like I said, there's still people that wear masks, and this is the flu season, so I get it. I used to always see a lot of people before COVID, around this time of the year, flu season, a lot of people wear masks, and I think that's respectful for them, especially if you want to fly and you're sick. So I get it. I mean, yeah, but I feel we
Yeah,
are. I mean, the planes are they're, fuller than they were before COVID. So people are back flying. They're not letting it, deter them. Even September 11th, like I said, the people that were scared, they're back flying. That
yeah,
said they'd never fly again, they're back flying. I mean, you
yeah,
have to get from A to B, and you have to live your life. We all still, at the end of the day, you have to live. And, if you want to travel, or if you want to go from A to B, sometimes
Yes.
the easiest and the cheapest way to do it. So sometimes.
Yeah. Sometimes, yeah. Depends
Sometimes
on where you're going, right? Yeah.
this way.
No. Yeah, so I think, like you said, if you stay hiding out, then they win,
Yeah,
uh,
they
COVID is
do.
part of normal, another respiratory virus just like the flu. Yes, absolutely. And I'm glad that as a whole, we see that now,
Mm.
that there's risk to everything. There's just risk to being out. There's just risk to living. Let's just face it. You walk out your door or even inside your house, there's just risk
Oh,
of being
you
so
know, it's funny. My husband, we always say, like, people that are scared to fly, flying is actually safer than driving a car nowadays, especially with everyone that wants to text. But the statistics show that you're more likely to get in a car accident than you are in a plane accident. So
yes.
if you're afraid to fly, just remember that.
Well, and that's also because there's a lot of, checklists,
Mhm.
pre-flight checklist that happens every single flight,
Every single
and
flight.
no matter how many years, how many times you've flown, no matter any of that, in every single flight, there's the pre-flight checklist, there's a FOD walk,
Mhm.
there's all sorts of things that people don't realize that goes on behind the scenes to make sure that the safety of flying is there.
Yeah.
And so appreciate that, these days because you're right. It's less risk of flying than it is, of driving, and, yeah. So speaking of
Yep.
risk of driving, now that you are a real estate agent as well, on your days that you're not being a flight attendant, you are driving around, quite a bit. So tell us, what is that like, being a real estate agent in the Orlando area, and, how you are doing with that and how you're enjoying that?
So, gosh, I've really been loving it. Actually, I have been working with a lot of first time home buyers here in Florida. That just helping them get their first home has just been very rewarding for me. It's just I don't know. It's like what I love. I love to do. I love just helping people and serving people how I can, and it's been fun. It really has. It's a different dynamic from flying. I feel like I go to flying to distress a little bit because selling real estate can be stressful, but it's very rewarding too. It has its rewarding days. Even
Yeah,
when I'm sitting in traffic in I-4 because of all the people that are here in Orlando coming still, but that's okay.
yeah, yeah.
So
Stephanie says, "We all need checklists to remind us of what needs to be done." Absolutely.
I'll have a million on my desk everywhere. But it's funny because, back to that real quick with my husband, pilots actually have to sign a waiver every single time before they fly that they feel fit to fly. Like if they have anything emotional going on, like if they have something going on at home or anything, they have to sign saying they're fit. And if they're not fit and head's not there, they can't fly. They just have to not sign it and they don't fly. And I think that's a really good checklist to have for them because I mean we all have emotional things going on in our lives, like I said, the passengers that bring it. Could you imagine if the pilots brought it all every day with them? I mean, we'd have it be having a lot of different conversations, but yeah, but they know what they have to go through, and if they're not fit they don't fly, and
Yeah,
it's simple as that. So
good. That's very good because, yeah, that keeps it safe because, yeah, when they're not having a good day, it affects a lot more people than just themselves, that's for sure. So,
100%. Yes,
yeah,
100%.
yeah. Well, I'm glad that you are enjoying real estate and that you've got a lot of first-time home buyers, and you're right, having first-time home buyers is a lot of fun. Started real estate with my husband, I guess, over 5 years, maybe almost 6 years now, and, it is a fun industry, and it is so rewarding helping others to realize the American dream, and first-time home buyers are so fun because they've not had that home ownership, and there's a lot of emotions that go around it because it's scary and exciting all at the same time.
It is.
Um,
It's a big decision for a lot of people. Yeah. So
yeah, yeah. And so I absolutely love that you enjoy first-time home buyers, and, um, I'm sure that they feel very at ease with you as you walk them through the process. Because many times, they don't understand the process, and so having an agent that can really keep them calm and walk them through, "Okay, this is normal. This is actually not," you know,
exactly.
don't jump off the bridge right now," you know?
A little bit because there are a lot of things that they get like like you said nervous about because there's so many big decisions And right, you got to kind of calm them down, walk them off the ledge. So it's really no different from me being a flight attendant and calming someone down that's scared to fly. So
Absolutely. Absolutely. And I don't know about you, but, for me, being in the healthcare industry, like I said, and absolutely learning to talk to people for so long and helping to ease them and keep them calm was definitely a natural transition into the real estate industry to be able to understand that, and apply those kinds of things. And, I what would you say that you love most about real estate?
I guess just the journey of it, the journey that you go on with these first time home buyers. They go from renting and paying all this rent, especially here in Florida, to actually the last couple I just got, their house, their mortgage payment is cheaper than what their rent they were going to pay. And I mean, just that whole journey with them and being, I mean, I like to say I like to make relationships with my clients, and just all my clients become my friends. It's just I love that journey and aspects of just having new friends and circles in my life, because you never know, who you're going to
Yeah,
meet, who's always going to be there in your life for you. So yeah, I think that's what I really like about it. It's just the journey with them.
that's great. That's great. Um, it's so awesome to see you just really grow. And I say this because, I know we've met, actually, we haven't even known each other a year yet. I feel like we've known each other longer than that, but it's,
Yeah, too
it's
bad. I feel like I've known you forever, but yeah, no, it's not even been a year.
no, but it's been really a lot of joy and a lot of fun to watch you just grow and metamorphose into this person that you are becoming. And we're always evolving. So I don't want to make it sound like she was something like drab or anything. But we're always evolving. Usually, people are either re- progressing or they're stagnant or they're regressing, right? But it's always a joy to be with somebody who is always progressing. And so I know you and I had met through mutual friends, through mutual events that we've been through, like Master the Stage, Coach Burt, and those kinds of things. And recently went to Momentum Masters with Ken Walls and Glenn Morshower,
And
and it's just so much fun. So
so,
tell me,
so much fun.
what do you love most about, some of these events that we have been to? Do you have a favorite event that you've been to? And
Well, I just recently went to your event that you guys put on with you and your husband, and I have to say it was amazing. You and your husband, you guys were really just really funny, and just I mean, yeah, I mean, you obviously you guys are a great couple, amazing couple that me and my husband both love. But it was just it was it was really good. We just got so much out of it. And
awesome.
thank you for putting it on. I mean, thank you for hosting it. Thank you for being a part of it. It was amazing. Yeah, I mean, I've been on a journey this last year of all kinds of different events, just trying to figure out where I fit in this world, as we've been talking about, and finally trying to find myself, and meeting all these just wonderful people as yourself and your husband along the way has been just one of the big bonuses. Is just all the amazing people these events have brought into my life. So I'm just very grateful and blessed, to have been able to be on this journey this last year and meet all these amazing people, and to be able to be on your show today. So thank you.
Yes, a lot of new things for you, and it is very exciting, and thank you for the compliment. I received that, and it's
So
been a lot of fun for sure for us to grow, for my husband and I to grow together and go on this new adventure. One of the events that I would say most recent, even before Amplify Your Life, was that Momentum Masters with Ken Walls and Glenn Morshower,
so
and
amazing
it was such a great event, such a great way to kick off the new year.
indeed.
So tell us about, that, experience a little bit, because I think those are some great moments
I
that were
mean,
shared.
yeah, just gosh, being on this journey, with that event, I've met Ken Walls doing a mastermind that you're in, and some of my other friends are in, and meeting him and Glenn Marshire and everybody that's on the mastermind in person was just a whole nother level. You do these masterminds online and you feel like you get to know people, but then when you meet them in life, it's like they're larger than life, some of them. It's just it was just such a just I can't even, like, I came home and I was on high for like weeks of just coming down from the event of like my life. This is my life, like just being in the room with these amazing people. As I was talking about, there's so many amazing people. Between Patricia giving us all one of her copies of her portraits. I mean, how amazing was that? Uh,
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
uh, yeah, yeah, I still, you think about it and you're just, like, there again, you feel the love. I mean, the love was definitely there, I mean, just like I said, knowing these people through a computer screen and having like what you feel like a connection, but then meeting them all in person was just a whole nother level. And
Yeah.
it was for sure just like a magical weekend. So yeah.
Yeah. For sure. People must be trying to get a hold of you. I hear the notifications dinging on your computer.
Being a busy real estate agent, the phone never stops.
It's good. It's good. Um, I
Yeah.
know that's why I have to silence my notifications because 'cause it'd be dinging the whole time too, but,
Oh,
uh,
yeah, I forgot to do that. Sorry about
no,
that.
no, no, no worries. So, I'm curious, so Glenn Morshower is this, like, a famous, actor, and for those of you who, may not know, but he's been on so many movies as a supporting actor. Probably the most well-known one is 24. He was the Secret Service agent guy on 24. He's been, guest stars on so many series. He most recently, a lot of the young kids know him as General Shepard on the Call of Duty game, which is incredible that he tells us that he makes more money doing that than all the, movies that he's, done, you
All
know,
together.
past altogether. That's how popular the game industry is. And so he's such a humble, down to earth guy, right?
Yep, so
And
humble.
so humble. But I wanna ask, so as a flight attendant for all those years that you've been a flight attendant, have you met other celebrities, on a flight? And you don't have to name names or anything, but how is it when you're interacting? Like, I would imagine they're people, so not everybody is as kind and nice, and some people may not be as kind and nice, but how is it, when you first see somebody like, "Oh my gosh, that's so and so." Do you still get starstruck, or, what goes on?
It's funny. I'm gonna tell you one of my first when I first started flying, one of my first people that I met, and you'll get you're probably around my age, so you'll get it. So Happy Days. Remember Happy Days? Scott Baio. Just gonna
Yes.
say out there. Posters, Scott Baio everywhere, right? So one of my first, flying encounters with start was him. He was on my plane. He walks in and he looks the same like he did on Happy Days, and this was years after Happy Days was over, obviously. And but he couldn't have been, as we were talking about, like with Glenn Marshall, he couldn't have been more humble. He couldn't have been more kind. He signed an autograph for me. I mean, back in the day, we really didn't have cell phones and cameras and pictures and stuff. So, he signed on the napkin, but I mean, that was one of the first ones. So I was like, oh, they're just also nice and humble and down to earth like us, right? Until you meet a few that maybe aren't so much, but there's only been a few, but for the most part, they've all been really kind and humble. Um, he was just one of the few that I've had on, and it's been, yeah, it's been amazing and fun. I've had a lot of football players, a lot of politicians, being based in DC, doing the DC LA trips a lot. You have a lot.
Yeah.
um, the kindest one was I had Newt Gingrich and his wife. They were really kind and humble too. He was very just, yeah. I mean, the stories, the stories I love. That's what I think I love the best about both of my jobs, is getting to know people and interacting with people and the conversations that you have. It's just, yeah, it's really
Yeah.
nice. Yeah.
That's great. Yeah, I was always like, "Gosh, I wonder what it's like," do you like a, "Oh my gosh, it's so and so," and then
First, you're like, okay, they're just people, and I am always the one that never likes to bother. I usually ask for an autograph, or some people do, and there's always only been one celebrity, which I won't name this one, but that someone was like in awe of them and really wanted their autograph, and I'm like, I'm not asking, not me, not my thing, right? But so this other flight attendant decided to ask this person for their autograph, and they respectably declined. They were with their family, their husband, their child, whatever, and just respectfully just declined. And I respected them for that. I mean, look, you're people too. They're people too at the end of the day, right? And they're
Right.
traveling. They just want to get from A to B. They don't always want to get bothered. I mean, I
Mhm.
guess I know it goes along probably with their career of being so famous and everybody sees you everywhere and then they feel like they want to have your autograph or take a picture with you, but it's not always a given, and we have to remember that they're people too. And
Mhm.
so the other person wanted to get a little upset that the person didn't want to get signed the autograph. And I'm like, why? I'm like, why? They have the right to say no. They have the right to refuse you. And it was done in a very respectful way. It wasn't, rude, or it was just like, I'd really rather not. The end of the
Yeah.
story. And I mean,
Yeah.
and that's fine. Yeah. I mean,
Makes
so
makes sense. Makes sense. Absolutely. Because I think about that too. Like, sometimes you think, "Oh, it's so glamorous to have
Mhm.
all this fame," but many times you're like, "But you give up so much of your privacy,"
Exactly.
and some of them can't just walk into a store like you
And
and I can,
I
you
know,
know,
right? Yeah.
without getting hounded.
Exactly. And I have to say, I love that liberty of, right, not having people jump out at you in the bushes, right?
Yes,
Yeah.
absolutely. Absolutely. Well, and that comes to it's so interesting because, as we're on these masterminds together and the business conferences that we go to, and we're looking to really elevate our business endeavors and the new season of life that God has us on these paths.
Yep.
And part of that is being on social media more. And you and I were just discussing this, that you're like, I'm just not,
Yep.
really, I don't like to be in the spotlight. I don't like to shine. I'd rather push other people to do it.
Yep.
And yet, in order to really, I guess, get to that other place, you really do have to be more seen and heard. And there's
Yes.
a fear. I have to tell you, I'm going to admit this, in that it took a long time for me to actually do the live stream and to do the podcast. I was talking about it for, a, I would say, at least a year prior to it happening. And of course, Ken, was just,
Yeah.
a very good, encourager. Let's just put it that way. He's very strong in his words, and he's very good at pushing, to the point where when I finally did my first live stream, I realized that all the reasons that I chose not to was actually reasons that were about me.
Mhm. Fear. Our fear, we let our fear 100%, that's been me. We let our fear of, what are others gonna think about us, right?
Mhm.
How am I gonna be portrayed? When, you come to realize none of that matters, I mean, you've been killing it for a while now with your podcast. I mean, just amazing. So proud of you, that, you took that leap, and, that's why I believe that I'm here today, because 'cause we're taking that leap of faith, or I'm taking
Yes.
that leap of faith. So, yeah, I mean, we all have to conquer our fears in some way, don't we?
Absolutely, and I'm so proud of you because you hopped on and, you and you're in the hot seat today, but it doesn't feel so hot, does it?
No, it's not. It's like you said, it's just like we're, talking with friends, and we are friends, and just having a conversation, with our morning coffee that I've already had. But it's yeah, it
very
and
it's very much so, and I enjoy it too. It's kinda like you said, I think you're going when you start doing your, podcast, and look, see how I'm planting here? When you start doing your podcast, you're gonna really find that you're gonna really enjoy it as well because, just what you have described already, that you're a people person and you love to hear people's stories. That is what I have learned now that I've faced my fears, that I really enjoy my guests, that I really enjoy that we have this time together to really get to know, each other and hear the stories. And people are so interesting. Like, the people have interesting lives, and like you said, you don't know where people have been, what they have done, and when you get to actually sit down and have a conversation for 45 minutes to an hour, you learn so much. And
yeah,
so you absolutely will love it as you, get into that. So I know I kind of probably put a little pressure there. I'm doing a Ken Walls thing, but
Between the 2 of y'all, I don't know who's gonna be worse. Just kidding.
But I wanna say I wanted to also, ask you because I know you've got some new things going on.
I do.
So, what tell us
I
about what's going on? What's happening?
so along my, journey, that I've been on this last year is, just figuring out who I am, where my place is in this world. Since I lost my father 8 years ago this year, so hard to believe. A lot of things you just start thinking about in life. When my father died, just suddenly never doing anything with his life, and just raised kids and had all these dreams and ambitions. And when I think and look back, of he never did any of them, and it's heartbreaking. And at my age, gosh, I'll be 55 this year, date myself, but you go, gosh, what have I done with my life? What legacy am I going to leave for this world? They always, my father didn't get a chance to do anything. So I feel like I owe it to him to do something. And I'm working on my first book, and it's going to be out this year. It's very exciting. Never thought that I would be an author, but it's happening. It's all coming to fruition. And it's going to be, a little bit about my father, but it's very,
Yeah.
very cathartic. Cathartic, I can say that word. To talk and write about it. 8 years later of realizing things in life, that life's so short. We never know what's going to happen tomorrow. Tomorrow's not a promise, as they say, and we all just kind of put off things that we want to do in life, our dreams, our hopes, and then it could be too late. So
Yeah. Well,
so yeah,
I'm excited to read this book, and I would imagine that you writing it also is a very healing process as
yeah.
well. Yeah?
Yeah, it has been. It truly has been. It's been a journey, a while in the making, like I said, going back and forth of, we of our fears and our self-doubt, and talk yourself out of it. I'm not a writer. What am I thinking, right? To just like you said, being around the right people, surrounding yourself, being in the room with all the right people over this last year that has led. And I feel God has placed all these people in my life, that are telling me something, that everything has been telling me something, that no, you need to do this, you're going to do this, and it's going to happen. So
Yeah.
here we go.
Awesome.
So yeah.
That's so cool. I am so proud of you. Look at you go. It's gonna be amazing. 2024 is definitely going to be
Thank
your year to
thank you.
really step out and, take this world and, give the impact that you are wanting, giving the message that you're desiring. Because Bonnie, I think you alluded to it. Well, you said life is too short, but I think you alluded to that it makes you realize that what's most important, right? And I know we spend a lot of our lives trying to obtain wealth and plan for retirement and all these things, but the reality it's like we were born into this world with nothing. And the reality is that when we leave this world, we're not going to be able to bring all that stuff. And so it makes you wonder, why are we working so hard and stressing out about all the stuff when oh,
Oh, there you go.
are you still there?
Yep, there we go. I
Yeah,
lost you.
I guess the internet yeah.
The
But,
name gods are
you know what I'm yeah, yeah.
totally.
So, but what about you is that you have taken that grieving moment and reflecting on your father's life and letting his life inspire you so that when you have this time that's still left, and we don't know how much time, God only knows how much time we each have on this earth, but that you want to leave an impact, you want to make a difference in this world. And so this is very exciting. Bonnie, I this time has gone by so fast,
No
but
worries.
do
This
you
is
have any
an hour. Oh, it's
I know. So, but I
amazing.
do want to give you, just is there anything else you would like to share? What does the American dream mean to you? And and what does that look like, even for the future for you?
Well, American dream is just living your dreams and like I said in real estate, being able to have a home and own a home for the first time for many people that otherwise thought they might not be able to, whether it be funds or credit or whatever. Just that, and like me, my dream of writing this book for my father and getting something out there. If I could help one person with what my message for the book is just that's what it's all about. Is that we all just kind of come together and realize that we're here for a purpose, on purpose, as Chad Free loves to say. I mean, but it's true. We all are here one time for a purpose, and finding our purpose is really what it's about, and living it to the best we can, as long as we're here.
Abs- Absolutely. So Kimberly made
Oh,
it. Hi,
really made
Kimberly.
it.
Kimberly is so sweet. I just love
Uh,
Kimberly's diva.
yeah, see, and my thing is I always was in the shadows and I was like, let's promote everybody else and my friends that are doing so amazing, like Kimberly Stevens. She's doing amazing things. So yeah.
Yes, but you're not going to stay in the shadow for too long, Miss Bonnie. So
I know. I'm slowly learning. I'm coming out of the shadows. You realize if you have a message and you have a voice and you want it to be heard, that you have to step out of your fears and out of the shadow. And that's what I'm trying to do. And that was, step of being here with you today. And like I said, I really appreciate you having me on your show. Thank you very much.
oh, you are so very welcome, and I thank you so much for being here
You're
with your
welcome.
lovely self. And
Thank you.
Kimberly says, "Now it's your time to shine, Bonnie." Yes, it is. It absolutely is. And
Thank
I tell you, with friends like Kimberly, it's hard not to be inspired to move forward for sure. And
100%.
and honestly, Kimberly is the reason why you and I met. So I'm so grateful for that, for
Yes.
sure.
Yes, because yeah, she's very inspiring, as you know. I mean, just an inspiring person, and you can't help but want to be better when you're around her. So she
Absolutely.
inspires me every day. So yeah, and I'm
Yes, absolutely.
thankful and grateful for her friendship and our friendship via her. And yeah, it's
Yeah,
been amazing.
for
So
sure. Exciting stuff coming up. And Miss Bonnie will definitely keep us posted as to when that book is going to be out. Now,
well,
Bonnie, if somebody wants to get a hold of you, how do they get a hold of you?
I'm on all the social media outlets. Bonnie Huntsman at Bonnie Huntsman. I mean, I'm there. I'm getting better at it. Being there, being present on Facebook and Instagram and TikTok or YouTube. But yeah, I mean, there's always ways to reach me. I'm very reachable.
So Bonnie Huntsman at bonniehuntsman.com.
There you go.
Okay. So she is reachable, and you're going to see more of her
You are.
because she's definitely coming out of her shell. She's like a butterfly coming out of the cocoon. So be ready to see more of Bonnie Huntsman, and she is going to rock your world, everyone. So be sure to share this out. I mean, what a lovely conversation we had with Bonnie, and she's just a beautiful spirit.
Thank you.
And I can't say enough. And like I said, the time just has gone by so fast.
So fast.
And
So fast when you're having fun with friends, right?
yes, it is so fast when you're having funs. And thank you so much for those of you who were able to join live with us. And if you're watching this on the replay, please be sure to share this out and even leave us a comment or even a question. You may have some question for Bonnie now that she, told you a little tidbits about her life as a flight attendant and in real estate. So, I'm sure she's got some really great stories to share and that sort of thing. So, Bonnie, until next time, I will say goodbye for now.
Goodbye.
Um,
Thanks
and
again. I'm grateful for you.
I'm grateful for you too. So we will chat later. So Bonnie Huntsman at bonniehuntsman.com. That's pretty easy spelling. There's nothing complicated about Bonnie Huntsman whatsoever. She's the easy peasy gal. So get to know Miss Bonnie Huntsman. And if you need real estate in the Orlando area,
Yeah,
give her a call. She will help you out.
for sure.
So, all right. We'll see you later, Bonnie.
Love you.
Love you too. Bye. Thank you, everyone, for joining us today. That was a very fun conversation with Bonnie, and I want to encourage you to go out and continue to live that American dream and continue to help others to achieve it because I tell you what, we live in an amazing, amazing country, and it is such a blessing to be here. So be thankful and have a grateful attitude because no matter what's happening in the world, we truly are very, very blessed here. So, goodbye for now, and I'll see you next time.